الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
At this time, I would like to mention an extremely dear and beautiful personality. He held a special rank and status owing to his absolute devotion and loyalty. He was utterly devoted servant of the Jamaat, and he passed away 2 days ago. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Surely to Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. Each and every single person will depart the world one day. But how fortunate are such people who spend their entire lives endeavoring to please Allah the Almighty. When they make a pledge, they try their level best to fulfill those pledges. Along with serving the faith, they are ever keen and ready to try and also serve humanity. Such people are included amongst those whom the world praises. As a result, in accordance to the saying of the Holy Prophet, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, paradise becomes incumbent for such persons. This servant of the faith, the devoted helper of Khilafat, and a person who held great regard, honor and respect for Khilafat, was none other than our beloved brother Mahmud Ahmad Shahid Sahib, who is well known as Mahmud Ahmad Bengali in Pakistan. He was currently serving as the Amir of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Australia. There he passed away on Wednesday, 23rd April. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Surely to Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. After his passing away, the first letter I received from one of his relatives, or the message I received from him, was that he was so intensely devoted to Khilafat that may Allah the Almighty enable us to be so. I responded that he operated like a pulse. He never entertained the thought or doubt of why any instruction had been given, or why it was being given in any specific way. Even if he was asked to do something against his will, then he would immediately comply and obey it. I will now provide some details of his illness and his ailment. On 22nd April, he left the Sydney Mission House to offer the Asr Salah and departed towards the mosque. After a short walk, he turned back as he did not feel too well. As soon as he reached home, he suffered severe brain hemorrhage. He was already diabetic and severed from intense blood pressure, so he was taken to the hospital where he was placed on a ventilator. The view of the doctors was that a hemorrhage in the area of the brain that he suffered proved fatal. It was impossible to revive him. However, I advised them to try for at least 24 hours, but not any more. When the ventilator was switched off after 24 hours, he passed away just after 2 minutes and returned to his Lord.
लेकिन बहरहाल मैंने उनसे कहा कि 24 घंटे कोशिश कर लें.
His introduction can be presented as such. Mahmud Ahmad Sahib was born on 19th November 1948 in the village of Bangladesh, Chardukia, in the district of Chandpur. His father's name was Maulana Abdul Khair Muhammad Muhibbullah and his mother's name was Zebun Nisa. His father had accepted Ahmadiyyat in 1943. At first, his father's name was just Abdul Khair Muhammad, but Hazrat Khalifa Masih II, may Allah be pleased with him, added the name Muhibbullah. The father was the first Ahmadi of his area and was a great scholar. His father was very enthusiastic and keen on tabligh, and through preaching efforts, he gave beneficence of the light of Ahmadiyya to his father, Khwaja Abdul Mahnan, that is Mahmud Sahib's grandfather. When he went to Saharanpur in UP, there he was introduced to Ahmadiyyat during the lifetime of the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wassalam, on whom be peace. When the promised Messiah, on whom be peace, visited Delhi, so his paternal grandfather in question was also eager and enthusiastic to meet him. However, he was disallowed to go by the educational administration where he was studying. Later, when he became Ahmadi, he would say that people try to keep us deprived of these blessings. However, Allah the Exalted granted us and conferred us with this blessing. On the instigation of Hazrat Khalifa Masih II, may Allah be pleased with him, Mahmud Ahmad Shahid Sahib's father dedicated his life or did waqf under the appeal of dedicating one's children. This is in 1954. Mahmud Shahid Sahib acquired his elementary education in his hometown and he joined Jamia Ahmadiyya, Rabwa, in 1962 when he was yet a child. He achieved his Shahid degree in 1974. In 1977, he was married to the daughter of the late Maulvi Muhammad Sahib, Amir Jamaat Bangladesh, Hajra Sahiba. They had 3 daughters and 1 son. With the grace of the Almighty Allah, all are married and are actively involved in Jamaat activities. Some of the incidents and accounts of Mahmud Sahib's early life he narrated to his son-in-law. So he relates that once during his time of education in Jamia, he sustained severe injury on his knee while playing football. He became extremely unwell and returned to East Bengal. Some facilities were unavailable in Rabwa at the time and the climate was quite harsh. The water was salty and there was no fresh or sweet water. He often suffered from stomach pain. His parents lived far away and he probably missed them considering his young age, and then he also got hurt. So he returned to Bangladesh, which at the time was East Pakistan. He had no desire to return to Rabwa. However, he says Sayyid Mir Dawood Ahmed Sahib, who was a principal of Jamia at the time, wrote repeated letters and made every attempt to get him to return to Jamia. As a result of this, he ultimately returned to Jamia. Mahmud Sahib said that my father's prayer had a deep impact upon my life. While in Rabwa, he wrote a letter to his father that the weather is extremely severe in Rabwa. There is no proper water supply and I have problems regarding eating and drinking, etc. In reply, his father, Mr. Muhibbullah Sahib, wrote that in Makkah there were also very severe conditions and circumstances. He quoted the verse from Surah Ibrahim, Rabbana inni askantu min zurriyati biwadin ghayri zi zar'in, and so on. and he advised him, and through it, and wrote that if you cannot live in a town that has been populated by the Khalifa of Allah, then your relationship with your father is completely meaningless. So Mahmud Sahib says, after this an immense and profound change came into my life. Respected Mujibur Rahman Sahib, advocate from Rawalpindi, writes that Mahmud Sahib was a quiet, accomplished servant of the Jamaat and a devoted person. He undertook his obligations with complete loyalty and sincerity for his entire life. And he went to meet his Maker precisely at the moment while serving the faith. Hazrat Khalif Tomasi Salis III chose him as a Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, and thus forth his administrative skills and qualities also emerged. Mujibur Rahman Sahib relates that his father was appointed a missionary in Bengal, and he dedicated his first child, and while Mahmud Ahmad was still quite young, he was sent to Rabwa. Due to unfamiliar surroundings, he would get quite sad at the beginning. Mujibur Rahman Sahib, who is the maternal uncle of Mahmud Sahib, said that Mahmud Sahib's father had an intense desire for his son to go to Jamia. He would write to Mujibur Rahman Sahib to not let Mahmud Sahib get too sad or sorrowful so that he could study and complete his education at Jamia. These were the early days. However, very soon Mahmud Sahib became completely engaged with all his heart in his studies. Those who lived in Rabwa and those who lived there from early times know how assimilated and embedded Mahmud Sahib became. Mir Dawood Ahmad Sahib would send him to Rawalpindi to stay with Mujibur Rahman Sahib during the summer holidays. Mujib Sahib writes, and writes very correctly, that indeed the seers were so simple and sincere and were so friendly and sociable that even non-Ahmadi neighbouring children and ladies would become acquainted to him and always remembered him thenceforth. Mahmud Ahmad Sahib had a very loving relationship with his brothers. He would quietly help his underprivileged and poor relatives. He always had some money kept in trust with the Bangladeshi Jamaat, which he would constantly serve his mother through. His relatives unanimously said that they had a very loving relationship with him. In the notes to his son-in-law, he said that in 1979 the election of Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya took place at the Shura. He was in the 5th position in terms of the votes. After the elections at Fajr time, Hazrat Khalif Tomasi III, may Allah have mercy upon him, summoned him and told him to engage in istighfar profusely and to recite durood. The next day, or in the evening the same day, Hazrat Khalif Tomasi III gave approval for his name as Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, although his votes were in the 5th place. One of his colleagues from Jamia Ahmadiyya, who is currently in the USA, missionary Inam Allah Qasir Sahib from USA, writes that I befriended Mahmud Sahib during Jamia days at the Nasir hostel. He was the Zaim of the hostel and Qasir Sahib was the Muhtamim. So he relates that he was a member of the mess and later the Sadr and also became the Ra'isul Jamia. When the announcement of his appointment by Hazrat Khalif Tomasi III as Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya was made, Inam Allah Sahib said I stood beside him and I wished to embrace him, but Mahmud Sahib said to move away in his very specific accent, which is a mixture of Bengali and Urdu. So then he asked that, has my name been announced? So I replied, yes, it has. He could not believe this. Instead of happiness, he looked sad and extremely worried. However, soon he came back into his senses. And then Inam Allah Sahib says that I embraced him. Khalid Saifullah Sahib, who is currently the acting Amir of the Australia Jamaat. He relates that once Mahmud Bengali Sahib told him himself this very incident of being elected the Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya. That in 1979, when the election for International Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya took place, then he was in the 5th position in terms of the votes gained. Hazrat Khalifa Masih III, may Allah have mercy upon him, was very kind, compassionate and affectionate to Mahmud Sahib. So Khalifa Masih the Salis summoned Mahmud Sahib and told him to engage abundantly in istighfar till the evening. Mahmud Sahib was very scared and thought that I had committed a mistake. But when Hazrat Khalifa Masih Salis appointed him as Sadr, in spite of his votes being in fifth, he realized that Hazur was drawing his attention towards humility through this way. This is also a lesson for all office holders. When they are appointed, they need to engage in istighfar and durood extremely profusely so that they maintain humility at all times and are enabled by Allah the Exalted to serve the faith in the proper manner. Mahmud Majid Sahib, an engineer, also writes in the same respect that Mahmud Bengali Sahib was an extremely devoted and loyal Ahmadi who was wholly devoted and dedicated to Khilafat. Perhaps in 1981, Hazrat Khalifa Masih the Salis, he does not remember the year, but in any case he says at the time Hazrat Khalifa Masih III, it is perhaps 1981, perhaps it has been written correctly. So perhaps in 1981, Hazrat Khalifa Masih III had all the Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyyas from 1960 up till then written down and numbered. And then he praised Mahmud Sahib that he excelled them all in obedience and in being the recipients of prayers. And he also said at the time that this is the reason why I have appointed him the Sadr in spite of his votes being in the fifth position. He says, I wanted to give the Jamaat the lesson that the appointment by the Khalifa is indeed better. He had many books written through him during his tenure as Ghulam al-Ahmadiyya Sadr. Towards an incident of 1981, Hazrat Khalifa Masih III at the Ijtima Ghulam al-Ahmadiyya appreciated his services in these words. Hazrat Khalifa Masih III said, blessings are given only to those who with sincere intentions follow and are devoted to Khilafat, because all blessings are associated with this institution. Nothing besides it can gain acceptance with Allah the Exalted. Then Hazrat Khalifa Masih III says, Mahmud Ahmad Sahib was in the fifth position as regard to the votes in the Khudam al-Ahmadiyya election held last year. I desired to give this lesson to the Jamaat, that the tasks of those four individuals who secured more votes would not have been more blessed because of the number of votes they had. Rather, one who follows Khilafat with sincerity of intention is the one who will truly receive blessings. Therefore, I appointed Mahmud Ahmad Bengali Sahib as the Sadr, who had the fifth position in terms of votes. He is a very sincere and pious person. May Allah the Almighty enhance his sincerity. He has worked extremely hard and has received many prayers. Hazrat Khalifa Masih III mentioned the attendance graphs of Ijtimas from the times of different Sadrs of Majlis Ghulam al-Ahmadiyya, dating from 1960 until that time. And with the exception of a brief decline at one instance, he mentioned the gradual increase and said, I wish to tell you that success is not with those who obtain the most votes, but those who receive the prayers of the Khalifa of the time. Last time, the person whose votes were in fifth position was made the Sadr. In the first year of his tenure, 771 majalis were represented, and the second year, that is this year, 818 majalis are present and the reports are included. At the time when Mahmud Bengali Sahib was the Sadr Majlis Ghulam al-Ahmadiyya, there used to be one worldwide Sadr. He would work under the Markaz, the center. The others in the world were not Sadran, in fact they were called the Qaideen. This came to an end in Mahmud Sahib's time. He was the last worldwide Sadr Ghulam al-Ahmadiyya. When this came to an end, he wrote a letter filled with humility to Hazrat Khalifa Masih Rabi IV. Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV replied to this letter
ये दौर जब
that you have needlessly expressed embarrassment in your letter. What is there need to be embarrassed about? For mashallah, you have accomplished a very good time as Sadr Khudam and have worked very well and with wisdom and bravery and courageousness during difficult times. May Allah the Almighty bless this. This is why you are being given the chance to serve in spite of joining Ansarullah. Hazur says, because he was given a year's extension. So Khalifa Masih IV continues, had you been incompetent, this would never have been the case. May Allah the Exalted continue to keep you a devoted and selfless servant of the mission. And may you be continued to enable to serve in an excellent manner.
अगर आप नाअहल होते
Then Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV wrote, you have worked greatly as regards to the welfare of the prisoners by the way of Allah.
इसलिए का बेलौस खादम बनाए रहे
Regular reports were sent in this connection. Upon one of these reports
फिर लिखा
was the following statement of Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV. Your report regarding the welfare of the prisoners in the way of Allah was received. MashaAllah, you are working with great wisdom and endeavor. May Allah the Exalted bring about good and blessed outcomes of your work. Hazur says, indeed, Mahmud Sahib did a lot of service as regards to the prisoners in the way of Allah during those days. Upon one report, Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV says, I am extremely happy at your service for the prisoners in the way of Allah.
ईरान की
This was the early period of the ordinance, and hundreds were being imprisoned for saying the kalama.
खिदमत असीरान
Khudam al-Ahmadiyya and Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya worked a lot in this regard. So Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV says that in your service to the prisoners in the way of Allah, you have worked excellently.
जेल में जा रहे थे
You are working exactly as I had desired.
खुदावंदिया ने काफी काम किया फरमाते हैं कि खिदमत असीरान
During his time, Khudam al-Ahmadiyya made prominent progress and services in many departments.
बिल्कुल इसी तरह से
He established the Asiran Trust for the welfare of Ahmadi prisoners in the way of Allah. The trust tried to meet their needs and alleviate their suffering and pain.
जो हैं आपकी आपके दौर
An ambulance was also run for service of humanity by Khudam al-Ahmadiyya to mark the centenary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat.
किया जिसके तहत उनकी
At the establishment of the Bayotul Hamd Society, Khudam al-Ahmadiyya gave a very large donation.
साला जश्न शक्ल
The spirit, the driving force and the heart of this was Mahmud Ahmad Sahib.
एक एम्बुलेंस
Land was also purchased to build quarters for workers of Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, in which he showed personal interest and enthusiasm. Then Central Khudam al-Ahmadiyya were enabled to give a valuable donation towards the translation of the Holy Quran.
कारकुनान के लिए क्वार्टर्स की तामीर करने
Mahmud Ahmad Sahib visited many countries outside Pakistan for the organizational advancement and progress of Khudam al-Ahmadiyya. The most thorough of these tours was his tour of 3 continents, Europe, America, and Western Africa, in which he visited 11 countries.
कई ममालिक का दौरा फरमाया
From 11 June till 11 October, he went to Holland, Belgium, Germany, United Kingdom, United States, the Gambia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ivory Coast. This was the first tour of Sadr Muhammad Khudam al-Ahmadiyya to these countries.
जर्मनी बरतानिया अमेरिका
The previous related to 1979. In 1989, he visited Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore on a tour.
इन ममालिक का ये पहला
During his time, the upper story of the Khudam guest house was built.
पहले 1979
Then there was a fire in Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Mahmud Hall, which is called Ivan Mahmud,
मलेशिया और
and its repair and renovation was undertaken without any appeal for funds.
इंडिया के गेस्ट हाउस की बलाई मंजिल तामीर हुई फिर खुदाम अहमदिया के महमूद हॉल जो है वाने महमूद कहलाता है उसको एक दफा आग लग गई थी और बगैर किसी
During his time, Khudam al-Ahmadiyya were unable to serve during the election of Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV.
सारी रेनोवेशन वगैरह करवाई
They were also unable to serve during the sensitive time of the migration of Hazrat Khalifa Masih IV from Pakistan. They gave duties and also accompanied Hazur.
लेकिन था मौका पर
Allah the Almighty also granted many historical moments during his time. He was enabled to serve in both the 14th and 15th centuries in accordance with the Hijra calendar, and also served in the 1st and 2nd centuries of the Jamaat. Khudam al-Ahmadiyya completed its 50 years during his era and entered its 51st year. Sultan Mubashir Sahib, who's writing the history of Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, writes that Mahmud Sahib would say that 2 to 3 days after becoming Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, I was extremely anxious and fretted. I wept a lot sitting at the feet of Hazrat Khalif Jamsi III, and in my specific accent I said he would not realize the differences in grammatical gender in the Urdu language, and I said that I cannot carry out this work. Hazrat Khalif Jamsi III said in response, when the Khalif of the time makes a decision and does it after prayers, he does not change it. My prayers are with you. You should come to me when in difficulty. Mahmud Sahib used to say that he went on to experience that the prayers of Khulafa were always with him. He had a direct connection with the Khudam. He said that Hazrat Khalif Jamsi III, may Allah be pleased with him, had advised him to spend less time in the office and more time having direct connection with the Khudam. Normally, instead of sitting in the office in the evenings, Mahmud Sahib would sit on a chair. Because there is a purpose-built Khudam offices there and the entire closure is of Khudams, people would come and go there. So Mahmud Sahib would sit there on a chair outside the office and ask people who had come to and fro in Awan-e-Mahmud how they wore. He would informally converse with them. Consequently, a friendly and sociable atmosphere was created with the Khudam. He shared with everyone in their grief. Dr. Mubashir writes that one day we were sitting working in the office and it got very late. Mahmud Sahib said, "Bring something to eat, if there is anything." So I went to the guest house to see, but the food that was bought for the workers from Darul Ziyafat had finished. Just a few pieces were remaining. I returned empty-handed and said that there is nothing left, apart from just a few pieces. Upon this, he said, "They are still blessed, so bring them." So that is what he ate. He neither gave any instructions to anyone in charge, any of the administration or workers of the guest house, nor did he rebuke them that why any food was not kept for him. It was night, he had diabetes, and by then diabetics get hungry, but he did not express any complaint to anyone. The Mohtazam Sahib and other workers lived within the enclosure of the Khudam al-Ahmadiyya complex, but he did not bother or trouble them. Dr. Sahib writes that Mahmud Sahib appointed him to write the history of Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, and he was given great encouragement by him. Mahmud Sahib had a Bengali accent in his conversations, which will also be noted in his writing. Often he asked me to write his letters. When he went to UK Jalsa in 2010, I wrote certain letters and reports for him. Dr. Sahib also was in the Jalsa at that time. Sometimes it was difficult to understand his Bengali accent and the words he expressed, and thus I would joke with him about this, but he was never offended. The aspect that I learned most of all from him, this is Dr. Sahib who was writing this, was to take one's capacities to the highest point in obedience to the Khulafa of the time and in observance of responsibilities and obligations. He was a trusted person of the Khalifa. If there was any scrutiny or interrogation by the Khalifa of the time over any matter, he always implemented Qawl-e-Sadid, the straight and right word, and never lost heart over the displeasure of the Khalifa. Rather, he was ever keen on reformation and sought guidance from the Khulafa for the future. He prayed and asked for prayers. Feroz Alim Sahib also writes that I was closely linked with him from when I went to Jamia in 1982. I was an inexperienced new Ahmadi at the time. Despite all of his engagements, he would affectionately and compassionately care for me. He would invite me over to his house on Eid and other occasions and give me gifts and try to alleviate me as a result of my homesickness. Similarly, Abdul Awwal Sahib has mentioned a similar trait and quality of his. He says that the most excellent and superior trait of his was that he was extremely closely linked with Khilafat and was always ready to sacrifice everything for it. He was quiet-natured, appreciative of others' qualities, and a holy and elder person who practiced the teachings of Islam. He always encouraged youngsters like me. After passing my matriculation and went to Jamia, I was 16 years old. I saw that although living far away, he had an analytical eye on the circumstances in his homeland and would give valuable advice and prayers. Hazur says, last year I sent Mahmud Sahib to the Bangladesh Jalsa as a representative. Awad Sahib says that Mahmud Sahib was extremely happy and was constantly giving encouragement. Khalid Saifullah Sahib writes, Amir Sahib would say that when we came to Rabat to study, there were some other boys who accompanied me. We went for a mulaqat to Hazrat Khalif Masih II, may Allah be pleased with him. Hazur was lying on a bed, and we sat on the floor beside the bed. Hazur was counseling us about the significance of waqf and sacrifice. Hazur placed one of his arms on me, as I was closest to Hazur. It was a will and doing of Allah the Almighty that all the other boys could not bear and tolerate the severity of climate and the food, and returned to their homes. Only I was unable to finish my waqf with the grace of the Almighty Allah and my education, which was as a result of the blessed touch of Khalif Masih II upon me. Then Khalid Saifullah Sahib writes, the late Amir Sahib was a very intelligent person who was extremely adept and skilled in forming contacts and honouring them and using them for the benefit of the Jamaat. As a result of this, the immigration process for Pakistani Ahmadis became easier, and the Australian Jamaat, which numbered a few hundred when he first came, now numbers thousands, and this progress continues and is advancing. As per the guidance and instructions of Hazrat Khalif Masih IV, Ahmadis were populated in all the big cities of Australia, and now there are strong Jamaats in the capital city of every state, and large beautiful mosques and mission houses are established. In Sydney, there is also, apart from Baitul Mahdi Mosque, Khilafat Centenary Hall and mission houses, and a guest house is also being constructed. Mosques have been built in Brisbane and Melbourne, and there is a Jamaat Centre in Adelaide. Efforts were being undertaken to obtain land for a mosque in Canberra, and it is hoped it will quickly be acquired. MashaAllah, he fully partook to a great deal in the progress of the Jamaat in Australia. The National Secretary Tarbiyat there in Australia, Imran Asin Sahib, relates the following. From 1991, Amir Sahib has been the missionary in charge and the Amir Jamaat. During his tenure, many major projects completed. Whereas the Jamaat is yet in very small numbers. After the 2005 tour, he had 2 or 3 new mosques and centres and Centenary Hall built over there. Masjid Baitul Salam in Melbourne has such large halls that the capacity is over 2,000 worshippers. Other mosques there are also quite spacious and vast. Very good contacts with both the political parties and the federal government of Australia were maintained during his time, which facilitated immigration affairs. He also acquired other facilities from the government. He formed the auxiliary organizations in Australian Jamaat on the model of the centre. His moral training played a large part in cultivating brotherhood among different ethnic groups. In Australia, there are not only Pakistanis, many Fijians are there as well as Australians and Africans. Mahmud Sahib created an atmosphere of great brotherhood amongst them. He entrusted duties to each and every one and made them responsible. He availed of their capacities, took work for them according to their capabilities. And this indeed is a quality of a good administrator. Everyone else should also practice on these lines.
हर एक को ड्यूटियां सपुर्द करके जिम्मेदार बनाया और उनसे उनकी सलाहियतों के मुताबिक काम लिया.
Recently, the Australian Jalsa took place, which he presided over. He gave an address on the topic of gratefulness for the being of Allah the Exalted. He was in very good health at the time, and no one could even think. That is, he was good health at the time relative to his illness, and he was recovering. His health was improving and had improved to quite a degree, but then he suddenly suffered from a stroke. The Sadr Jamaat Victoria, Javed Sahib, writes in one of his detailed letters that everyone speaks about and is aware about Amir Sahib's close attention to detail, sagacity, guidance in every matter, perception, insight, and foresightedness. Amir Sahib had quite an old car. In spite of repeated insistence of the Majlis-e Amla and also my personal insistence, he did not get a better car. He always provided other missionaries with good cars but did not care for himself. Similarly, his daughter has written that regarding clothes they used to get for him, he did not have much concern and only wanted to wear what was comfortable. He said there was no need to be too fussy or to spend too much money on them. He was very careful about Jamaat expenditure. He had an excellent memory. He remembered members of the Jamaat by their names and had a God-given ability to utilize their skills to the best. He used to explain matters in Majlis-e Amla and also the proceedings of the Shura by giving references of the Khalifa of the time. One person relates that a person was to fly in for the cricket tournament that occurs here, but the flight was either cancelled or delayed due to adverse weather. He could not participate in the tournament. So Amir Sahib explained to him that still go ahead with the journey. Even if you cannot participate in the tournament, the actual objective is to meet the Khalifa of the time. If you accomplish this, consider the purpose of your participation in the tournament fulfilled. In my recent tour, he could not go to Melbourne as he was severely ill during those days. However, he would make regular and frequent phone calls at frequent intervals to oversee all the arrangements and organization. He writes that Amir Sahib used to advise Khudam, Ansar and Lajna about fulfilling their obligations and the pleasant effect of this that could be seen in their lives during his speeches and addresses. He especially cared for overseas students. He gave preference and priority to matters regarding the families of the martyrs over all else. In terms of disciplinary action, because at times complaints have to be raised and then disciplinary action is taken from here. So he would say that this would make me extremely sorrowful, and he was very quick in pardoning. Amir Sahib's personality was like a fundamental brick for Jamaat Ahmadiyya Australia. So he continues to write that his work was like that of a foundation in the establishment of Australian Jamaat. Dr. Syed Ahmad Hassan writes that he was an ocean of love that you and I saw and felt. Every Ahmadi, whether young or old, would visit his house without hesitation or formality and talk to him about even trivial matters. He would especially entrust youngsters with tasks as if he was training them to become leaders. He always felt the pain of the members of the Jamaat. Osama Ahmed Sahib from Melbourne writes, Maulana Mahmud Ahmed Sahib was like a loving father for us Australian Ahmadis. He loved all Australian Ahmadis equally without any discrimination. He won over every young and old with his courtesy, high morals, good treatment. He always took great care of all the guests who came to Sydney on every occasion. He personally welcomed guests by coming out of his house to hug them at the ijtimas and jalsas.
नमूने से अपना
We always saw Amir Sahib's smiling countenance,
मौके पर
and this love and good treatment remove all our tiredness to travel.
इज्तिमा के मौके पर
Some people hurt him in certain ways,
लाकर मेहमानों का खुद
but despite the negative conjectures made about him,
हम हमेशा अमीर साहब को मुस्कुराता हुआ चेहरा देखते और इस मोहब्बत और सलूक से सफर की थकान
he was never found directly responsible when investigation occurred.
भी नहीं
There were one or two cases where negative suppositions had been made about him, but those who raised the allegations were the ones who were found to be blameworthy.
उनका कसूर नहीं निकला।
A lady, Tahira Attar Sahiba, writes,
एक दो केस
just a few days ago, the Jalsa Salana Australia concluded.
करने वालों की असल में
He placed special emphasis on the hospitality extended to the guests staying at the mosque, and he said that the guests who will come to the Jalsa should be specially looked after. He would particularly inculcate about offering the prayers.
दिन पहले जलसा सालाना ऑस्ट्रेलिया खत्म हुआ है मस्जिद में रिहाइश पजीर मेहमानों की मेहमानों
The in charge of the press here,
के जलसे पर आने
who was also with me on the tour, Abid Wahid, relates,
वाली बड़ी तकलीफ थी
I had the opportunity to become acquainted closely with Mahmud Bengali Sahib.
प्रेस से
In spite of feeling unwell during the entire tour, he looked after even the smallest matters and gave his full attention to it.
गुज़श्ता दौरा
As an example, once in the evening dinner, on the second day we were also given just one vegetable, whereas we did not even realize this. However, Bengali Sahib did pick this out. He personally went to the kitchen and inquired from the ziyafat that is there no other vegetable, that you are only giving one vegetable? So this is how he would always take care of the guests.
इस बात का एहसास भी नहीं
There was extreme humility in his personality, despite his vast knowledge and experience. Abid says that he would have no hesitation or qualms in taking advice about matters of press and media. He respected the Nizami Jamaat and had ardent devotion and love towards Khilafat. Zartash Munir Sahib, Amir of Norway, writes,
कहते हैं आबद के मुझसे प्रेस और मीडिया के अमूर के
I was unable to be Qaid of Karachi district in the days when Mahmud Ahmad Sahib was Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya. In extremely challenging times, he was an extremely successful Sadr. These were the years of 1984, 85 to 86. When the circumstances became extremely adverse, the Jamaat and the auxiliaries of Sindh and Balochistan
तौफीक मिली इंतहाई पुर
were entrusted and placed under the Karachi Jamaat.
84 85 86 का दौर था जब हालात
If a martyrdom took place anywhere in Sindh, Mahmud Sahib or his representative would arrive there before representatives from Karachi.
कराची के स्पोर्ट
Mahmud Sahib would undertake very difficult matters in troubled and difficult times
से जमात कराची के स्पोर्ट कर दिया गया था
with great courage,
किसी जगह
effort,
होती तो महमूद साहब या उनका नुमाइंदा कराची जमात के नुमाइंदे से कबल पहुंच
he adored Khilafat hugely and had great sense of honor for it. He would not tolerate the slightest negligence in terms of security. He would be most affectionate and loving when he went to Rabba for Ijtama and Jalsa.
अंजाम देते खिलाफत के साथ इश्क की हद तक प्यार था
Malik Akram Sahib, who is a missionary here, writes, During my educational days at Jamia, I toured Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Rawalpindi with Mahmud Sahib.
और बहुत ही प्यार और मोहब्बत का सलूक फरमाते
He gave different addresses in every majlis. He had memorized Quranic verses, ahadith and pronouncements of the promised Messiah alayhi salam and the sayings of the Khulafa with complete references.
रावलपिंडी की मस्जिद का दौरा
One senior office holder in Rawalpindi said after one jalsa that this young child will be honored in his life, although at the time Mahmud Sahib was a student of either the third or fourth year at Jamia. Akram Sahib writes that I was unable to serve for 5 years in his Amla when he was Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya.
कहा था कि जिंदगी में ये बच्चा एजाज पाए
He would give very close attention to detail, was very meticulous, very wise, and also very extremely humble. He was extremely loving and affectionate, who worked hard himself and also expected his Amla to work hard. He was most courageous. Once I remember that a mischievous officer
की सारी कूट कूट के
was imposed on Rabba.
शफीक और मोहब्बत करने वाली हस्ती थी खुद भी मेहनती थे
He produced some inappropriate restrictions. Mahmud Sahib went to his office in his capacity as Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya and spoke to him with such dignity and aura
एक अफसर रवा पर
that he became awestruck and removed the restrictions.
बाद नामुनासिब रोकें पैदा कर दी महमूद साहब बैसियत सदर मजलिस
Then he writes that he never saw Mahmud Sahib use a Jamaat car given to him for personal or family purposes.
खौफ से उसने
He often went to gatherings in Rabwa on foot or by bicycle.
फिर ये कहते हैं कि काम
Addressing the Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya Ijtima, he said, "Some people say that Ahmadi young men are better than non-Ahmadi people." He said, "It was not the purpose of the promised Messiah on whom be peace, to compare yourself to others or to compete with them.
खुदा के इज्तिमा में खिताब करते हुए कहा
The promised Messiah alayhi salam has indeed said that every Ahmadi should bring about pure changes in himself,
कि ये तो हज़रत मसीह अलैहि सलाम का मकसद नहीं
and this is what should be kept in view."
साथ अपनी निस्बत तलाश करते थे
Zafar Ahmad Sahib from Bangladesh writes,
या उनसे मुकाबला करो
"I was unable to serve him during a stay in Bangladesh when he went there last year. Mahmud Ahmad Sahib was an extremely straightforward and simple person by nature. He was very friendly and sociable and was ever present in the mosque at prayer time. Despite his illness, he offered the tahajjud regularly. During a stay in the guest house, his advice was not to stop anyone who wished to meet him.
महमूद अहमद
He used his personal money to pay for their hospitality. He was caring towards each and every person, and he went to visit the sick and ill.
तहज्जुद पढ़ते थे मेहमान खाने में उनके क़याम के दौरान उनकी हिदायत थी
Many people have written about such qualities of his, that he remained as he was from the end as he was in the beginning. Respected Ataul Mujib Rashid Sahib, Imam of the Masjid Fazl, London, writes that he was an extremely sincere, pious, devout, humble and selfless person who was completely without pretense. He says that once I had the occasion to go to Australia for 1 month in 2004 and came to know of his countless qualities, the top of which was his love and obedience for Khilafat. This would often be the topic of discussion during our morning walk. We would talk about the progress of the Jamaat and about the participation and association with Jamaat work. He would say with great concern and worry that many weaknesses remain. While touring other Jamaats, he would inform me which matters needed to be brought to their attention.
जमात की तरक्की और जमाती कामों में शमूलियत और वाबस्तगी
Khalid Ahmed Sahib, who is the in charge of our Russian desk,
से जिक्र करते
relates, he has written to me
दौरों पर जाते हुए मुझे हर जमात के हवाले
that after you conferred with the mantle of Khilafat,
दिलाने की जरूरत है
Mahmud Sahib's love changed into great reverence,
इंचार्ज हैं ये कहते हैं कि मुझे इतना
and his countenance would exclude humility and sincerity just by mentioning you.
मुमकिन होने के बाद
He then says, and in fact what he says is correct, that it is without exaggeration that there will be very few who are sincere, humble, righteous, dervish-natured, compassionate and utterly devoted to Khilafat like he was.
तो ये कहते हैं और वाकई ये सही कहते
A relative of his writes that he was sitting next to Amir Sahib when a member of the Australian Jamaat phoned.
हैं वेश सिफत हमदर्द खिलाफत के फिदाई
He wanted to convince to have his way, and he was using some harsh words in expressing that he was in the right.
ईद में लिखा
When Mahmud Sahib explained to him,
बैठे हुए थे किसी को
the person on the phone became even more enraged, and he said that he would report him to the Khalifa of the time and so on.
के अल्फाज
So when the conversation ended, he said most sorrowfully that these people make mistakes themselves and then become a source of worry for the Khalifa of the time.
कि मैं फिर खलीफा को रिपोर्ट
As I have said, many others have said
खैर जब बात खत्म हुई
that he was not concerned about being reprimanded or scolded by the Khalifa of the time due to any mistake he made. He would always explain the whole matter completely fairly, justly and honestly.
ये तो
He would always explain to the youngsters that we are merely the humble servants of the Jamaat. This is the Jamaat of Allah the Almighty. He continues to take care of all matters himself. If you are receiving the opportunity, then avail it to serve the Jamaat.
जवानों को समझाते रहते थे कि हम तो मोरे हैं ये खुदा की जमात है खुद मामला संभालता चला जा रहा है अगर तुम्हें मौका मिल रहा है तो मौके से फायदा उठाओ और
His service to Jamaat began with his Yamat of the Nasir hostel. Then he served as Mu'tamim Maqami of Majlis Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya Rabba from 1977 to 1979.
इनकी जमाती खिदमात जो हैं
He was then given the senior responsibility of Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Markazi at the annual Ijtima 1979,
मुकामी मजलिस उलमा
which he served for almost 10 years.
77 से 79 तक फिर
As I said earlier, he was the last worldwide Sadr Khudam al-Ahmadiyya. Afterwards, the Khudam al-Ahmadiyya was made into separate auxiliary organizations. He also served in the Department of Islah Rashad.
साल तकरीबन सदर खुदाम
When the Central Department of Sami Basri Audio and Video was created in the 4th Khilafat, he was made in charge in November 1983.
तंजीमें हो गई
He served as Vakil Sami Basri Tariq-e-Jadid in 1984.
खिलाफत राबिया में जब मरकजी शोबा समी बसी का क्या
After this department, I believe, came to an end.
निगरानी आप ही के सपोर्ट
In fact, it did come to an end
84 में बतौर
after MTA,
में खिदमत की तौफीक पाई
because at the time it was started to disseminate cassettes. Later, MTA took this task over. From 28 June until he breathed his last, he was enabled to serve as the Amir of Australia.
उसको तो कैसेट्स पहुंचाने का
May Allah the Almighty have mercy upon him, continue to elevate his status and rank.
28 जून 1991
No doubt he was a selfless, elder and holy person
अमीर के तौर पर खिदमत की तौफीक मिली
who served the Jamaat with all his capacities and capabilities. He neither cared for his health nor for any impediment or obstacle to come in the way of his work for the Jamaat. In my last tour of Australia, although
जमात की खिदमत
Mahmud Sahib was in great pain and was suffering severely, he supervised all tasks himself. When I exited the airplane, he was stood in front.
गुज़श्ता दौरा ऑस्ट्रेलिया
I became extremely worried seeing his condition. He had severe back pain.
इंतहाई तकलीफ में थे
In fact, his backbone had deteriorated to quite an extent. According to the advice of the doctor, such people need to rest. However, he did not take any rest,
हड्डियां तकरीबन
considering it was a tour of the Khalifa of the time, and how could you rest?
खराब हो चुकी थी डॉक्टरों के मुताबिक तो
In fact, on the way back from the airport, sitting in the car, Naib Amir Sahib, who was driving the car, Nasir Sahib, I said to him that Mahmud Sahib, indeed, seems very frail and aged.
बल्कि कार से बाहर आके जब मैं
At the time, I was not fully aware of his ailment and pain and suffering. I later found out of the details after speaking to the doctors there, of how this person, in such great pain and suffering, was putting himself into trouble and carrying out his work and going here and there. And not only this, he was also supervising all the matters relating to the tour.
इतनी शदीद तकलीफ में अपने आप को मुशक्कत में डाल
One day,
चल फिर रहा
even suffering this pain, during the tour his blood pressure increased quite highly. There was concern that he may suffer from stroke or even a heart attack. He was in a very bad condition and was taken to the hospital. He stayed in hospital for a few hours, and then he was permitted to come home by the hospital.
बहुत बढ़ गया
And this devoted and dedicated and gallant servant returned home only to continue working once again. He could not travel with me to one city and regretted it greatly.
इजाज़त दी अस्पताल वालों ने
But in spite of his pain and suffering, he came along to the next place, although I said to him to not travel with us.
दोबारा काम शुरू कर दिया
However, he did, and he remained with us in all the demanding and hectic and busy programs.
दूसरी जगह
He remained present and supervised all matters.
बावजूद इसके कि मैंने कहा
He would forget his own concerns and worries, and was worried for me that lest I should be inconvenienced in any way, and that all the programs should be accomplished and fulfilled properly. Not only was he worried about me, but he was also worried about the people of my entourage. He looked after them as well. He would repeatedly express that I could not look after you people properly.
तमाम प्रोग्राम बासन हो जाए
And this worry and concern only emanated by the fact that the Khalifa of the time may suffer as a result of the people of the entourage suffering.
इस बात का इजहार करते थे कि तुम लोगों को सही ख्याल नहीं रख सका और ये सिर्फ फिक्र इस वजह से थी
Indeed, I was worried during the tour for his health. Anyway, his health did continue improving during the tour, and gradually he became quite well. Recently, there was a Jalsa and Shura in which he fully participated.
दोबारा कि उनकी तबीयत खराब ना हो जाए दौरे के दौरान ही तबीयत बेहतर होनी शुरू हुई और फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता काफ़ी बेहतर हो गई। गुज़श्ता दिनों उनका जलसा हुआ।
I have also worked under him in Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya. He was very open-hearted and generous with his subordinates as regards to giving them an opportunity to work. He would also appreciate and regard and encourage them in their work.
मैंने खुदा अहमदिया
He was such also a great and excellent helper of Khilafat, the examples of which we rarely find, as I have mentioned towards the beginning.
काम करने का उनको मौका देते थे और फिर कदरदानी भी करते थे।
Through his demise, although there is a gap in the Australia Jamaat, but Allah the Exalted himself looks after divine communities, and he fills such gaps himself. May Allah the Almighty bless and always grant such excellent and amazing helpers of Khilafat.
लेकिन इलाही जमातों को अल्लाह ताला
Such people who are extremely loyal and devoted to Khilafat and are dedicated and who fulfill their pledges.
आए और इन जैसे सुल्तान नसीर हमेशा
May Allah the Almighty be the protector and helper of his wife and children, and may He enable them also to be strong in faith, like their father.
अपने अहद को पूरा करने वाले भी हों।
May they also come to form a strong relationship and bond with Khilafat. May Allah the Almighty also enable His children to pay the dues of their mother.
कि अपने बाप की तरह ईमान और ईकान में मजबूत हों और खिलाफत के साथ मजबूत ताल्लुक पैदा करने वाले हों। अल्लाह ताला इनके बच्चों को भी तौफीक दे कि अपने माँ का हक अदा करने वाले हों।
After the Friday prayer, I will inshallah also lead his funeral prayer in abstention.
अभी नमाज जुमा के बाद इंशाल्लाह नमाज जनाजा गायबीन का पढ़ाऊंगा मैं। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नस्तगफिरुहु व नुमिनु बिही व नतवक्कलु अलैहि व नऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر